Yo, what up, guys? Ross Scalps here. In this video, I'm reviewing Sonic 3. Alrighty, guys, director of this movie is the same one we had the last two, Jeff Fowler. And this is basically all he's done, the Sonic movies. Along with the cast, you have basically the returning cast along with Shadow. That's really the cast. And guys, I've liked the Sonic franchise. I think it's a good franchise. You see my guy right there? Yeah, I captured Sonic. But I like Sonic. And this is a good, fun franchise, especially, for kids or whatever. It's just a good, entertaining series they got going. And once they introduced Shadow, I think everyone was hyped for it. Even in my theater, there were some scenes happening where people were like, oh, like people were doing all that. And so this, I feel like, is kind of starting to become a beloved franchise. And they've kind of kept raising the bar in each movie. And for this movie, the same thing. They raised the bar, and I think they hit the bar. This movie is just the best way to describe it. Entertaining. This is what you want. This is real entertainment. It's funny, it's emotional, it's heartwarming, action packed, all the things that you want, and the pace is good. So all those things wrapped together to give you Sonic 3, which is a good movie. It's a good movie, good way to end the year. But with that being said, let me go into some of the pros and the cons about this movie, just so you can get a better understanding of what I thought was really good and the other stuff that they could have done better. All right, so for the pros, let's just start with the pace, right? This movie flies by, and I feel like they stuff a lot of things in the movie. I thought this was like a 2.5 hour movie because of how many things were put in the movie. You know what I mean? So they do a good job there. Along with that, just the returning cast: Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, the Marsden family, or whatever. Jim Carrey. They all do good. This is what you want. They all are just at their peak, really. Some more than others because some have more screen time, but we'll talk about that. But all of them, just the chemistry, just seeing them all, like just the world building that they've done throughout the last two movies. It's nice in this movie. With that, the comedy, Jim Carrey. This might be a Jim Carrey movie. The stars of this movie really were Jim Carrey, Sonic, and Shadow. They carry the movie. And Jim Carrey, like I said, he's funny. Just scenes of him, especially towards the end, just funny. And throughout the movie too, sprinkled in. Sonic has some, quips here and there, but for the most part, it's just Jim Carrey just doing what he does best. Along with that, this story, I feel like it's connected well and it does good job keeping you entertained. And along with that, the action. There are certain fight sequences, especially at the beginning. Like the first third of the movie is really good all the way around. And then towards the end, there's these fight scenes that they have with Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, all these characters. It's just entertaining to watch. This movie is just entertaining. This is what you want from a movie. Also, this movie has some pretty emotional scenes, like heartwarming. I don't think it's enough to make you cry, but unless you do cry at movies, you might. Because there were some scenes in here that were just kind of sad, just emotional. It's like, dang, that's a good moment. That's a good heartwarming moment. And so they had scenes like that in here, and they were able to bounce the action to the emotional, just all around a comedy. So they were able to do a good job of that. And last thing I'll say is there's 2 post-credit scenes, and one of them just gets you really hyped for the next one. Even if you don't understand what's going on, it still gets you hyped. Like you just saw this movie, and now they're leading into this. It gets you hyped for what's next. All right, so with all that being said, I know I kind of glazed this movie a bit, but let's go into some of the cons. And the first thing I'll say is, in the trailer, they show Sonic and Eggman working together, and I would like to see more of that. There is some of that in here, but I think they sell it off to be maybe more than what it actually was. And I just personally would have liked to see a little bit more, but it doesn't kill the movie that it wasn't. And like I said, this movie is really Sonic, Eggman, and Shadow. And so if you're looking for, a lot of Knuckles or Tails, you're not going to get a whole lot of them. They're in there enough, but not as much as the second one. And so it's really, if you're looking for other certain characters to have more of a prominent role, then they're probably not going to get that. But even then, you'll still be satisfied with how much screen time they did have. And I guess to jump off of that, because some of these characters aren't shown as much, there's some characters who are just sidelined for, a good chunk of the movie. Because it does focus a lot on Eggman, does focus a lot on Shadow and Sonic. So there's characters who just aren't there for a while. But even with that, everyone has their own, spotlight and moments. But yeah, I mean, these are just kind of nitpicky things. Obviously, it's just like a kid movie. It's supposed to be a fun, entertaining movie. There are some cliche stuff in it, but it's not really a whole lot to say, yeah, this was bad about the film. This was bad. The movie knew what it was, and it delivered on what it was. And for fans of the franchise, fans of the games, I'm sure everyone will come out enjoying this movie one way or another. All right, guys, but with that being said, if I had to rank this movie, I'm going to give it the Piston Cup. I think you should go watch this in theaters, and I think you'll enjoy it. When I went there was all kinds of people there. There was older people, there was kids, there was people dressed in the Sonic outfit, you know? There was everyone. And so this movie overall is a fun, entertaining movie. I suggest you watch it in theaters. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Comment below what you think if you've already seen this. I'm sure a lot of you have. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.